waiting for some more rivets. I haven't got any long enough.
Keith is about 10 more rivets to finish off the trailing edge of Lancaster NX611 wingtips. You control the grip, do you?
Yeah, but
you don't just press it, you have to control.
If you do press it, it just goes. If you push the lever slowly.
Yeah, so you got control, yeah.
It's just that for some reason the rivets are slightly expanded inside the material.
Yeah.
So I have to leave it an extra long tail.
Yeah.
And if you're not careful, the tail, because it's extra long, it just goes sideways into shear. Yeah. You have to do it slowly, and then as you see it start to move sideways, and you have to move the squeezers back and forth out of the rivet back.
Yeah.
It puckers the skin up.
Yeah. Will you put a tape over that edge or not?
No, just paint it.
Yeah, you won't put a sealant like you did on the leading edge.
It's already sealed.
Oh, is it? Yeah.
I put it in with PRC.
What's PRC?
It's a polysulfate sealant.
Yeah, yeah. What was this sealant?
Yeah, it comes as a two-part mix. Base and an activator in a tube.
Yeah.
You just mix the two together like that.
Yeah.
And then I'll just put a bit of masking tape around that, and then when it's all runny, just rub it on there and coat it, and then go onto the surface that you want to do, and it puts a very thin coat on it.
Even. Is that hard now?
Yeah, that's gone half hard now.
Yeah, I see, yeah.
So you see it's like a rubberised.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah.
Sticks well, doesn't it?
These green spots on here.
Oh, what's the green spots for?
That's where the static wicks are going to go. You see? Material paired off. So it makes good contact.
Good earth, right, yeah. What is a static wick?
Lightning conductors.
Yeah, they've got. Where does it discharge it to?
Yeah.
Disposing charge. Dispose of the charge neatly into the atmosphere rather than it building up.
Yeah. How many do you need on this wingtip?
There's 3 on each wingtip.
Not the Lancaster or the old style.
With copper and mesh.
They've got a metal core, and then it's like the one at the time, and then you've got a cotton weave round it.
Yeah.
And then once again the end is sort of kind of loosely flared out.
Yeah.
So that it discharges harshly.
That's something I've learned today.
Okay.
What we've got here?
What we've got here, we've found a box of them in quarantine. I knew we'd got some kicking around, some old. Now these are old ones.
Oh,
I think. I don't think these are off Jane. I think these are some that were given to us. So as you can see, they bolt underneath the wing, underneath the trailing edge rather, and they're like a cotton cover, and inside is the metallized fabric.
Yes. Is it interwoven into the fabric, or is it just a conductor itself?
I think it's interwoven. Be, if you like, flapping around in the breeze. So any build-up of static on the aircraft, instead of it arcing and sparking, it is gently discharged from the tips as the air passes over them. So as you can see, that one has got a little bit of wrapping on the end just to stop everything fraying. Which has happened to this one. The wrapping's gone and it's obviously frayed back. I don't think any of the others are in any better condition than that.
They obviously got these on the outer points of the aircraft. Do they put them on the fuselage as well?
No.
No, it's just on the outer extremities of the aircraft.
That's right. So it'll be they'll be on the ailerons, they'll be on the elevators and the tails as well, on the fins. So yeah, so obviously that is the right size,
for those,
and that is worn.
Yeah. And what they call these?
Static wicks.
Static wicks.
Yeah.
The power washer's causing the background noise again. This is all being done to get the floor painted. I think that's to cover the CAA rules. These are some of the remains of the stringers damaged in the hangar roof collapse. I want to just asking John where the stringers start and finish, hopefully.
Well, the stringers all started.
This is, yeah.
Former 27.
Yeah.
They all finish.
The rear fuselage of Lancaster KB976 from Doncaster. Former 27, the end wall of the transport joints. The new stringers all start at former 27 and connect to the part of the stringers that are not damaged between formers 29 and 31. These joints are staggered so not to create a weak point. And you won't be taking this skin off any further. No, you'll just rivet it back on.
And zip it as far as we need to go.
When you knock these rivets out, you'll have to be careful that you don't, when you get to the centre part, that you
don't disform it.
Yeah.
You put a riveting block behind it and bang it against the riveting block.
Oh, you can't just put a presser.
It'll just bounce.
Yeah.
So you put some press against it and knock it out that way.
Oh, so that's good. And I thought I'd put an advert in for you for your latest video.
Oh.
With the Lincolnshire Aviation Heritage Centre. So this is, you've done a video on the Hampden.
Restoration of the Hampden AE436.
Yeah. I'll come this side because the light's coming in. And that's it. And what actually, on the video, how long have you been working on it then? The project? Too long, I know.
Yeah, I've been working on it since 1990.
1990?
Yeah, and it started in 1986. Brian Nichols started it.
Yeah.
1986.
And you don't spend a lot of time on it, do you? Because it hasn't progressed.
No, not now. I'm not working on this.
No.
It's a slow and painful progress, basically, because we haven't started, not this rear fuselage, we've started with a bit of solid.
Yeah.
With a Hampden, it's a lot of smash bits.
Yeah.
Where we've had to actually make every single part, put it on the jig and reconstruct it that way.
Yeah. And how long do you think the project's going to take you? Another 10, 15 years?
And the rest.
Yeah, because you'll be working on the Lancaster, won't you?
Well, I'll be working on the Lancaster, plus it's finding the information. Yeah. Because not all the drawings exist, you see, because Handy Page, when Handy Page closed down, they went through the drawings and had a pile of scrap and a pile of keep, basically. And the pile of keep went to the RF Museum and the Imperial War Museum. They jointly owned the three where you had limited drawings. You had to look at other things to find the dimensions. Find the dimensions of Former 3, Former 5. You can work out what the dimensions are of Former 4 where you've got no drawings at all. You just have to put a straight edge on the two formers you have got.
Follow it around.
Make another former and make it to
get the outside and the inside.
To the bend, basically.
Oh, that's good. Well, what I'll do, John, anybody watching can go on the link I've put in the comments below and follow you on YouTube. And it's the Hampden project here at Lincolnshire Aviation Heritage Centre. Thanks, John.
Okay.
What's this then, John?
We've got the floor at the back here, and I was a bit curious to what was happening underneath. So what I've done, I've took the floor up and found the original floor underneath.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, which is a bit.
It's a false floor then.
It's a bit bent and battered, but if you look at it, there's a ring of pot rivets here.
Yeah, I've got it.
You see that? There's a ring of pot rivets there. Very significant, those pot rivets. That's where the LSAT used to be. Yeah, it sits on a raised, like a raised platform, and it was pot riveted on.
Oh.
So that is genuine piece of wartime history. That is.
I can see the round. Yeah, going round. Yeah.
And they're proper Avro pot rivets because they've got a slot either side of it. Because Avro's had a special tool where you had a tube which put into the slot, and then the drill was in the middle, and the tube on the outside stopped the rivet from spinning.
Good idea, isn't it? And taking them out.